I'm so pleased to be joined this Theology Thursday by a man who needs no introduction, a star of screen and stage and libraries. I speak, of course, of the great Kirk Cameron. Kirk, thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, hey, it's an honor to be talking with you, Michael. And I love that I'm sort of infamous in certain circles with regard to libraries now. I don't think the drag queens like me too much because I'm moving in on their turf.
You are. And turf is an apt word there because the turfs are the only people other than the conservatives who have recognized that the stuff is totally nuts and a big danger to our political order. So you got in trouble somewhat recently, what was it, about a year ago, for your children's book, for speaking at libraries, for basically taking over the gig that had previously in recent years been occupied by drag queens. And this caused a big stir, and now you are doubling down.
That's exactly right. And I'm really grateful for the Drag Queen Story Hour in the sense that it's brought to light the gaping vacuum that we have left for people with lesser ideas and ideals to move in, to swoop in, and to hijack the sacred duty of shaping the hearts and minds of our children in public schools, in public libraries, essentially outsourcing parenting to the government and other special interest groups who say that they know what's best rather than parents. And now we have a movement that is afoot across the nation to take back story hours, to take back the leadership position of educating our children with the values that are truly important. And I think that's what we have, where we have to start. Everyone knows that when you get to the children and you have the privilege of telling them the stories, you get to control the future. If you're writing the textbooks and you get to decide the bedtime story of choice or the morning library story hour of choice, you get to shape the character of the next generation. And we're returning back to the right values that lead to blessing and protection.
Right. I saw this story out of Old Town Alexandria the other day, which is that Old Town has replaced crosswalks with the Pride Progress flag, which is like the regular Pride flag, except somehow even more aggressive. I call it the Pride flag because it's the rainbow with the triangle. I think some like BLM stuff. It's a lot. It's a hodgepodge of leftism. So they didn't just do it for June, the month of Pride. They voted permanently to install these new crosswalks. So in your daily life, you are walking through, I guess in this case, walking over the Pride ideology, as if to say there's no neutrality, as if to say you can't ignore it. This is going to be part of your life, whether you want it to be or not. And so I wanted to get you on during Pride Month because we have Theology Thursday here, and you'd think, oh, okay, I'm talking to Kirk Cameron, a very famous Christian actor. We'll talk about Christian theology. Now, I kind of want to talk about the theology or the anti-theology of pride. You know, this is now a month in our secular liturgical calendar. It is everywhere. It seemingly came out of nowhere, but it's now taken over our crosswalks, our classrooms, our public libraries. It's just our HR departments. It's everywhere. And the minute that you suggest, hey, maybe we ought to offer an alternative vision to shape people's minds, you are persona non grata. You're public enemy number one.
Yeah. High five to everything that you just said. I think I agree with all of that. I think it's true. And one of the things that I have to keep reminding myself of, Michael, is that somebody's theology will reign supreme, regardless of what it is. Yeah. Even if you say I'm an atheist, I have no theology. Well, actually, you do. You have a supreme leader in your life. It's either yourself, it's the government, it's a group of smart people that you really look up to. You might think that it's genetic and all sort of determined by DNA, or you may have a religion. But whatever your theological framework is, from there will proceed your laws, your morality, your understanding of truth and knowledge and goodness and beauty and evil. And so it's really not a matter of whether or not you want to be religious. It's just which God do you choose? And if you go down the road of any other God beside Christianity, you run into trouble. And that's why our founders, from my understanding, understood that even if you were not a Christian, people like Benjamin Franklin and others embraced the principles of Christianity, the theology, if you will, of the Bible, because they knew that it led to the greatest amount of liberty and freedom and prosperity and protection for all people. And that's what we want to get back to. Sure, are there people here who are of different persuasions of religion and philosophy? Yes, and you can live here in America. However, if we go whole hog with your ideology and theology, you will wind up with a totalitarian system that has no room for anything else. If you really want a place of diversity, if you really want a place of inclusion where people are loved and accepted and don't have their heads cut off or their platforms canceled, embrace Christianity for your own good and your own survival.
It's a great point, because some liberal or atheist or pro-pride person that hears you right now is going to say, well, no, hold on. You don't want our totalitarian view. You want your own totalitarian view. But the point you just made is a really important one, which is Christianity tolerates things. Doesn't say there's no such thing as truth. Christianity doesn't say, go wild and do whatever you want. But Christianity has baked in, since antiquity, a healthy kind of toleration. This has been true throughout the ages. It springs from the Christian religion. It springs from our understanding of the Godhead, our understanding of man's relationship to God and the nature of the fallen world. So when you say, look, we don't want to live in a world where they're chopping your heads off for disagreeing, right? We know what that religion looks like. It's a religion that's predominantly in the Middle East. If we don't want to live in a world that's just full of bacchanals and decadence and obscenity in front of our children. We know what that religion looks like. That's the pride religion. One religion is going to reign supreme, though, and the one that seemed to have shaped our country pretty well while it reigned was Christianity. So shouldn't we try that one again? even if you're an atheist or kind of disaffected liberal?
Yeah, I sure think so. I think our founders understood, and our forefathers and foremothers before them, the Pilgrims certainly understood what happens when government gets in bed with any type of religion and you don't keep sphere sovereignty between the family, the church, and government. And they also understood that it was the principles that we've adopted from the biblical model under the leadership of Moses and that ancient Hebrew republic that they knew would produce the most amount of order under law and maintain individual liberty for people with different ideas. So, man, I'm so excited with the opportunity that we have right now. I think this could be conservatives, Christians, people who love God and love this country and love their children. This could be our finest hour. Often it takes times of moral decline, spiritual apathy, political corruption, economic collapse to wake us up. And it's in those moments throughout history that we've seen great awakenings and a resurgence of the principles that lead to life. And that's what you're about. That's what I'm about. That's what millions of Americans are about. And I feel, as I travel the country, the rumblings of a revival under my feet. And I'm so excited about it.
Go to hallow.com/Knowles, Knowles. Whether you're feeling stressed or anxious or simply seeking a moment of peace and tranquility, the Hallow app has something for you. Hallow offers an incredible range of guided meditations and prayers that are designed to help you deepen your spirituality and strengthen your connection to God. With Hallow, you can embark on a journey of exploration, diving into different themes and types of prayer and meditation. With its user-friendly interface and hundreds of guided meditations, the Hallow app has quickly become a go-to resource for people seeking spiritual growth and healing. You can download the app for free at hallow.com/Knowles, Knowles. Set prayer reminders and track your progress along the way. Hallow is truly transformative and will help you connect with your faith on a deeper level. What are you waiting for? Download the Hallow app today at hallow.com/Knowles, Knowles. That is hallow.com/Knowles, Knowles, for an exclusive 3-month free trial of all 6,000 plus prayers and meditations. hallow.com/Knowles. You are seeing some healthy signs, at least at a basic political level, coming out of Europe. There were the European elections recently, and the right-wing parties tended to do much better than people expected and better than the liberal parties. So I agree there's something kind of happening politically, and that generally has a religious aspect to it, especially in America it does. So I share your hope, even if I don't share your optimism, maybe. Hope is a theological virtue, and I think it's certainly possible that we could rise and meet the moment, and with God's grace, we can do anything we want. But let's get to the nuts and bolts of it. How exactly do we take back the libraries, for instance?
Well, I don't have the master playbook to take over public libraries, but they've already been taken over because we left places of leadership and responsibility, and not just the libraries, but also schools, and also even in our homes. If I farm out my parenting to an iPad in the den for my children to watch 8 hours a day, I've abdicated my most sacred role of parent. But I can tell you some things that I have found that have been encouraging people and getting them up off the couch, and that is just do something. Do something. Grab a hold of King David's spirit. When he was a young boy and all of his big brothers were afraid to face Goliath, he ran out there, and his secret was the fact that he knew there was a giant bigger than Goliath that made Goliath look like a midget. And that was the God of heaven, who has a lot of skin in the game. Talk about theology. The blood of his son was shed, and he has come to destroy the works of the devil and to reconcile the world to himself. And if we can join in on what he's doing in our local communities, oh man, I've got all the reason for hope and courage in the whole world. So what I'm trying to do is I'm pushing back against what was just declared to be the world record by Guinness Book of World Records for the world's largest drag queen story hour. This just happened, and they had a whopping 268 people show up for the world's largest drag queen story hour. Well, last year we held an event that had over 3,000 people. And then another one that had over 10,000 people across 300 libraries, over 46 states. And this summer, we're going to 2X the whole thing with See You at the Library Day on August 24th. Over 500 libraries. We're hoping for all 50 states. And we are going to invite people to host a story hour for children where you recite the national anthem, you pray, and you read stories of Christian virtue to your children, and crush the leftist, woke, trans ideology that is infiltrating our kids' libraries and schools. Christian wholesomeness for the win, August 24th.
I love it. August 24th, everyone needs to put it in the calendar, because I like your answer. I mean, you've said two things that were really, really profound there, and other things that were pretty profound, but two that really knocked me off my socks, which is you said, one, do something. Just do something. Doing something is generally better than doing nothing. And so what a great example. How do you take back the libraries? You show up August 24th and you read your kids a book. That's what you do. And then what you said even before that really shook me, which is, yes, conservatives and Christians abandoned our leadership in the libraries, and we abandoned our leadership in the schools, and we abandoned our leadership in this institution, in that institution, the companies, and the government. How about in your home, though? The people who complain about Drag Queen Story Hour on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or TikTok or whatever, how much do you read to your kids? Do you read your kids a book?
Yeah.
How about you start with that? How much are your kids on the screens a lot? Are you encouraging them to participate in this culture that you're complaining about? Well, how about you just? And I don't mean to harangue the conservative parents, because I know it's a culture that's very lost, and we all live on our phones. And we're basically cyborgs, but. Take a pause there. I think of C.S. Lewis saying that if you're going the wrong direction, the truly progressive person is the guy who stops and goes backwards, right? And starts going in the right direction. How about we just stop for a second and say, hold on, whoop, put a pause on all the crazy culture and everything. Hey, I'm going to sit down and read my kid a book. Just that simple act could be so restorative.
Absolutely. I'm as guilty as anybody else. I mean, here I am. I'm now a grandfather, and I just started doing this stuff with the libraries and really engaging. I mean, instead of complaining about guys who dress up in fishnet stockings, heels, lipstick, and a wig reading to children, how about if you're a dude, just go there dressed like a man and read some stories to kids in your library, or just start with your own kids. And listen, I'm as guilty as anybody else of being late to the game when it comes to these things. I have 6 children. I'm now going to be a grandfather. My daughter's going to be delivering in July. And I have an opportunity to do something right now that I believe is going to make a big difference. And if we all do that, man, we're an unstoppable army of love, of compassion, of truth, and of courage. Let's not just sit back and be professional whiners, hoping for a rapture. If you're a evangelical or if you're a dispensationalist, if we could use lots of theological terms here right now, let's choose to be salt and light in a culture right now and not create self-fulfilling prophecies where the world gets darker because we don't show up. Let's let the light shine brighter because moms and dads and grandparents are, putting on their boots and their big boy pants and showing up where our kids need us.
I so love that advice because when you see people going on and on about, I don't know, eschatology or, giving some grand thesis on the role of Christianity in the political economy of the West and the this and the that, there's a place for that. I'm really interested in that kind of writing. But did you pray today? Did you? That's all great. I can't wait to hear your soteriology. But did you, take your kid fishing over the last week? Are you doing the things that will actually inculcate Christian virtue and build up the culture? Come on, that's exactly where I'm at. I am just as much on the hook as anybody else. And
yeah, man, I'm trying to do a better job of that. And I find that when I can say, look, I don't have the silver bullet. I don't think Michael Knowles has the silver bullet. I'm waiting for the smartest guys on the planet to come up with the plan. But I've found that there's a lot of reporters who talk about the culture and they complain about the culture, but there are a lot fewer reformers who actually say, I'm going to start creating the culture and building the world that I want for my children. And that's the group that I want to hang with so that I can be one of them. Absolutely. Absolutely right. I love the idea. I am excited for August 24th. You say we need an army. The Cameron family basically is an army, you figure husband, wife, 6 kids, grandkid on the way, which will be born just about 2 or 3 weeks after my 3rd child will be born. So we'll see which one pops out first. Thank you. I think we've got I think we have a slight edge, but who knows? I don't know these days. Sometimes a kid wants to stay in there an extra couple weeks, so that's very exciting. Michael, I just have to say, if it's okay for me just to interject sort of a random little favorite thing. It's one of my favorite pro-life arguments right now. When I go to the grocery store and someone says to me, "Oh, you got kids, and how are you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to be." I said, my daughter. I said, not only am I a father, I'm a grandfather. Like, no way, you're a grandfather? How old is your grandchild? I'm like, well, she's going to be born in July. And they look at me and they don't know what to say because they're really happy for me. And they know I've got a grandbaby in there. And that just sort of demonstrates that we're talking about life and a little baby, and they know it. That's a great point because if you read the tabloids, especially the British tabloids, a princess or someone is pregnant, you never read about the royal fetus. It's never the royal embryo. No. It's always the royal baby, even when the baby's in the womb. But I don't know, for the plebes and the peasants, somehow it's not a baby. Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm just thrilled to have a new little one on the way. And man, it's an honor to be able to talk with you. And thanks for helping us get the word out there about See You at the Library. Absolutely. August 24th. Kirk, thank you for coming on. I look forward to whenever we crisscross paths, wherever in the country. I always like a celebratory cigar, but it's especially fitting when a new baby has been born. So I will save some Mayflowers for you next time I see you. And in the meantime, we'll pray for the family that it's a safe and good delivery. Thanks. That sounds good, Michael. You bring the cigars. I'll bring the craft whiskey, and we'll compare G.K. Chesterton and C.S. Lewis quotes. That sounds like actually. What could be better? It's my ideal night. That is my ideal night. Kirk, thank you so much, and thank you to all of you. I'm Michael Knowles. This is the Michael Knowles Show. See you next time.